Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's John, and I'm here to educate you on cocaine. Now, what is cocaine? It's a highly addictive drug that speeds up messages traveling between the brain and body. It's a stimulant drug, makes the user feel more awake and energetic. But, of course, it does come with some pretty nasty side effects, but we'll get to that later. For now, I'd like to play a short video that touches more on this topic.
Warning, the following footage contains scenes that may disturb some viewers.
Jesus!
Hey kid, you wanna do some Charlie?
Charlie?
Yeah, Charlie.
But that's my name.
Is that cocaine? Yeah, coke, crack, white rock, speedball. Do you wanna build a snowman?
This guy's high out of his mind. I have to get out of here.
Hold your horses, where do you think you're going?
Anywhere but here. Get away from me, old man!
I'm only 26!
A truly disturbing video indeed. According to the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare, the age group that's most likely to use cocaine is around 20 to 29, so that old man probably wasn't lying about his age. Anyway, I'm here with our special guest, Charlie O'Kane. G'day, Charlie. It's good to be here, John. Thanks for having me. No problem, let's get straight into it. So, Charlie, why do you think it's important that young people are aware of the risks of using drugs? Well, you see, with younger people, their brains are still developing, right? And it won't be completely developed until they're in their mid-20s. Now, if a young person were to use an illicit drug such as, say, cocaine, their brain's gonna get damaged, right? And it's gonna be harder to learn, they'll be more aggressive and erratic. Take a look at that old guy, for example. He was sweating like a pig, his pupils were dilated, he was twitching and seemed on edge. These are all short-term effects of cocaine. Now let's assume that he's been using cocaine for a long time now. His tolerance would grow, so he'll need higher doses just to feel that same level of pleasure again. And if he isn't taking the drug, he'll start feeling more stressed, making him want the drug more. Over time, the organs in his body get damaged, like his heart and cardiovascular system, which then leads to a higher chance of getting a stroke. Absolutely right, Charlie. And not only will he destroy his body and mental health, but also relationships with people he cared about. So that is essentially why I think it's important that younger people are educated on this topic. Spot on, Charlie. Was not expecting such a long answer from you, but anyway. Because if people weren't educated on this topic, there'd be a lot more of them using illicit drugs. Young people in particular are easily peer pressured because they want to fit in and be liked by others. Teenagers specifically are more likely to engage in risky behavior because it's natural for them to want new experiences. They want that sense of freedom. If they didn't know any better, they'd most likely just hop on the trend. Yes, Charlie, you are absolutely right. Moving on. Alright, speaking of trends, I'd like to talk about the current status of cocaine. Is it trending? Is it flying out of the shelves? Well, as it turns out, cocaine use in Australia has only been increasing. The National Drug Strategy Household Survey in 2023, God, that's a mouthful, showed that 4.5% of people aged 14 and above in Australia have used cocaine. Now that's an increase from 2019's result, which was 4.2%. Now if you think 4.5% isn't that much bigger, let me put that into perspective. That's 1 million people. Imagine a whole city just doing cocaine. That's crazy, John. It is crazy. Now we've actually gone out and interviewed a couple of people on the streets to hopefully get some more insight on how cocaine impacts a person's health and well-being. I guess I do know a couple of guys who do coke. Some of them being my friends, but me personally, I've never tried it. Never will. My mate, Jake, right, we used to be good mates until he started doing cocaine a couple of weeks ago. Since then, he's been acting really angry at everyone. Last night, hit his head really hard while doing something stupid. He shrugged it off, like he somehow ignored the pain. It was crazy, yeah.
Okay, so, cocaine. Where do I even begin? Hell of a thing, ain't it? Me, personally, I've never done crack. Never in my life. I do know someone who does. My good friend, Harold, started doing it this year. Since then, he's been acting all tired and depressed. Looks like he hasn't slept in days. I'm pretty sure his girlfriend broke up with him, so... Am I even allowed to share that here?
Hi, I'm Gibble Goblin, and I have here with me the 4 dimensions of health. Ta-da! It's not that crazy. But you know what is crazy? Cocaine can affect all of them. Let's start with physical health. As discussed earlier, cocaine has some pretty nasty side effects on the user's body, making their pupils dilated and increasing their body temperature. Mental health. The user will feel more paranoid and anxious. They'll most likely be depressed too. Intellectual. Over time, cocaine can cause brain damage and can make it harder for the user to learn and remember things. Social. If the user becomes addicted to cocaine, this can make them prioritize that addiction over their relationships with people they love. This leads to them losing those relationships and ending up alone. Fortunately, there are plenty of support services available to those who need it, like Headspace. Headspace is a mental health foundation in Australia that gives young people aged 12 to 25 support with mental and physical health, alcohol, and other drugs. There are 150 Headspace centers across Australia that you can visit, and they have a website online that's really easy to navigate, and it's very accessible to anyone, really, and I think that's where it shines. However, there are multiple cases where young people and their parents have gone out and said the service didn't help them, and some people are even questioning its effectiveness. If it were up to me, some things I'd do to improve Headspace is to hire only the best psychologists in the country who know what they're doing and are passionate in helping others. But hey, that's just me. Back to you, John.
Well said, Gibble Goblin. Now, before we go, I've actually just received a very good question from a fan. So, this is from user I Love Gambling. Hey, I'm a big fan of your show, John. I just have a question. What can a young person such as I do in a situation where I'm being peer pressured by others into doing drugs? Okay, so the question is around peer pressure. Charlie, you got anything? Charlie? Charlie! What? Right, Okay, so if you feel like someone else is trying to get you to do something that you might not want to do, like, for example, drugs, that's peer pressure. The best way to get yourself out of the situation safely is simply to say, no thanks. While doing this, remember to be assertive, sound assertive, and look assertive. Consider your body positioning. This is not assertive. This is assertive. Raise your voice to be a clear but calm level. However, if all of that still didn't work and you're still being pressured, try to change the topic or suggest an alternative.
Hey, wanna do coke? No thanks. How about we drink coke instead?
Oh yeah, sure thing, man.
You nailed that, Charlie.
I feel like you're making me do all the work here.
What was that?
Nothing.
Well, it seems like we've run out of time, so before we go, just remember, cocaine is highly addictive and can ruin your mental and physical health. If you feel pressured into doing it, refuse and defuse the situation. If you need help, remember there are support services available like Headspace. Have a good day and don't do cocaine.